Stoic Wisdom, published by Angas Life. Peace and contentment are not influenced by what's happening around us, but by how we think and see things. It highlights how our thoughts can influence our perception of reality. Practicing the principles of Stoicism helps us develop a resilient and peaceful mindset, making it easier to navigate life's challenges with grace and equanimity. Understanding emotions is essential for finding inner peace and navigating life's challenges with Stoicism. Stoic philosophy emphasizes that emotions are not inherently good or bad. Instead, it is our perception and response to them that ultimately affects our well-being. Emotions are perceptions or evaluations that stem from our thoughts and beliefs about the world. These impressions can be seen as neutral and are a result of how we interpret them. Understanding this concept allows us to distance ourselves from the immediate impact of emotions and approach them with logic and awareness. Take a moment to observe our emotions without any judgment or attachment. We can approach these emotions without feeling overwhelmed and explore the thoughts and beliefs that cause them. By doing this, we can develop a better understanding of ourselves and make informed decisions about how we handle these emotional impulses. A crucial aspect to consider is that we have the ability to influence our own thoughts and beliefs. Understanding that we cannot control external events or the actions of others, we can still influence our own perceptions and reactions. Stoicism guides us in developing an inner sanctuary, allowing us to discover peace and steadiness amidst the turbulence of life. Mindfulness is about being completely present in the present moment and being aware of our thoughts, feelings, and sensations, without any judgment. Observing our experiences with curiosity and openness is key rather than getting swept up in them. Through the practice of mindfulness, we develop a deeper awareness of our inner experiences and gain insight into how we respond to the world around us. Understanding and embracing acceptance brings about a sense of tranquility. Understanding and embracing acceptance involves recognizing the truth of a situation and consciously deciding to act in accordance with our principles. It's all about fully embracing the present moment, regardless of whether it brings joy or pain, and realizing that we have the ability to choose how we respond. Stoicism, a philosophy that dates back to ancient times and was developed by thinkers like Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus Aurelius, focuses on the value of cultivating virtue and living in harmony with nature. It helps people learn to prioritize what they have control over and calmly accept what they cannot change. Developing a sense of unwavering inner peace is crucial for success in any professional environment. By directing our attention towards what we can influence and embracing what we cannot, we can prevent unnecessary distress and unease. Stoic practitioners recognize that while we cannot control external circumstances, we have the power to control our response to them. By focusing on what we have control over, our thoughts, actions, and attitudes, we can stay calm and focused, even when things get tough. Chapter 1. Marcus Aurelius. Marcus Aurelius ruled the Roman Empire in the 2nd century CE during turbulent times of war, famine, and disease. Considered the last of the 5 good emperors of Rome, Marcus Aurelius is renowned for his philosophical wisdom and dutiful leadership steeped in Stoic teachings of virtue, resilience, and service. A dedicated scholar and proponent of moral self-examination, Marcus kept regular personal writings, now captured as the classic Meditations. In this text, he articulates Stoic principles of focusing one's efforts only on that which can be controlled, one's reasoned choice and perception of events, rather than external outcomes. Applying such teachings while shouldering immense imperial responsibilities, Marcus Aurelius exemplified remarkable ethics and level-headedness amidst chaos. He conducted his obligations with gravitas and vigilance, administering justice while personally leading military campaigns to defend Roman borders. By all accounts, Marcus lived a simple and earnest life dedicated to society's welfare rather than glory or wealth. His courageous death, while serving the Roman people, cemented his legacy as a philosopher, king, rule guided by wisdom, restraint, and duty above ego. Lesson 1. The best answer to anger is silence. Anger is commonly viewed as an emotion that can have negative consequences, causing people to say things they don't mean and engage in actions they later regret. When someone directs anger towards you, it's common to feel the urge to respond with anger. However, this approach often proves ineffective in resolving the situation and tends to exacerbate conflict. The Stoics emphasize the importance of maintaining self-control and clear judgment, even in challenging circumstances. Responding to anger with silence allows you to create a calm environment and gain a clearer understanding of the situation. Remaining quiet enables the other individual to also find tranquility. It helps to halt the progression of conflict and allows both parties an opportunity to reflect on their words and actions with clear minds. Lesson 2. The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. Picture two individuals trapped in a traffic jam, running behind schedule for a crucial appointment. A driver aggressively pounds the wheel, blares the horn, and loudly expresses frustration at other cars in an attempt to clear the way. Despite lacking control over the traffic, he has unfortunately relinquished his own inner peace due to an excessive and misguided investment. The other driver calmly accepts the external realities beyond his control. He centers himself, finding solace in soothing melodies and practicing deep breathing instead of expending energy on futile annoyance. Who has the upper hand in this situation? Stoicism reveals a fundamental truth. We need to distinguish between the things we can control and the things we can control and the things we cannot. Getting too attached to expectations regarding external outcomes such as fame, health, or reputation can lead to unnecessary suffering. These worldly factors can change, regardless of how much we resist. By focusing on developing inner virtues, wisdom, and perspective, we can gain better control over life, no matter what challenges come our way. We have the power to decide. Shall we engage in futile conflicts and protest against external forces that disregard our desires? Alternatively, we could focus our energy on mastering the one thing we have control over, our minds. This provides an unparalleled power that remains unaffected by any situation. In the end, we are faced with a decision whether to direct our energy towards unproductive frustration or towards achieving lasting inner peace. What would you like? Lesson 3. How ridiculous and how strange to be surprised at anything which happens in life. Getting outraged, frustrated, or disappointed when things don't go as hoped is irrational given the changeable nature of the universe. Stoics saw life as uncertain and filled with events beyond human control. They taught that we should train our thinking to not get emotionally caught off guard when we encounter adversity, obstacles, accidents, conflicts, and the like. These things naturally happen. Developing unrealistic expectations that only good fortune will come our way leads to needless suffering. The Stoic approach is to foster an attitude of calm acceptance of life's inevitable ups and downs. The only constant in life is change itself. Being shocked whenever change occurs exposes a silly and unrealistic mindset about the erratic way of the world. The wise realize turmoil is inevitable and roll with life's complex fluctuations with flexible dignity. Lesson 4. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Events that occur outside of our control, such as our circumstances, health, reputation, and possessions, are ultimately beyond our influence. Although we have some influence, there are many factors beyond our control. We have control over our mindset, perspective, and judgment when it comes to events. The power to shape our internal experience and meaning. Making is truly profound. The Stoic sages discovered that by directing our efforts towards understanding and controlling our perceptions, thought patterns, and beliefs, we tap into profound sources of resilience. No matter what happens to us externally, we have the power to shape our internal perspective and thus influence our experience of it. This grants access to remarkable mental strength and adaptability, regardless of the external challenges we encounter. Understanding what is within our control is key to achieving long-term stability. Lesson 5. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. When someone mistreats you or behaves poorly, responding with negativity or malice rarely leads to a resolution or justice. It frequently perpetuates a harmful cycle, negatively impacting everyone involved. To overcome hatred, the Stoics believed in meeting it with virtue. They emphasized the importance of maintaining integrity and choosing compassion over stooping to an enemy's level, responding to negativity with empathy, patience, and leading by moral example allows you to preserve your self-worth while also keeping the door open for potential growth and redemption in the other person. They may become aware of the deeper truth of their actions through their conscience. This promotes fairness through constructive methods instead of exacerbating harm. Rising above and refusing to become equally corrupted is the ultimate revenge against those wishing you harm. This approach demands a great deal of self-discipline and moral integrity, but it serves as a strong response to negativity. Responding to malevolence with empathy presents a truly inspiring challenge to darkness. The Stoics understood how to transform negativity by extinguishing its flames. Lesson 6. Accept the things to which fate binds you and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart. Here, fate refers to events that are beyond our control. The circumstances we are born into and unexpected moments that can alter our path. The Stoics emphasize embracing life's challenges and taking control of how we interpret them. Even in the face of tragedy, we can always control how we choose to see things. This perspective helps avoid feeling resentful about circumstances beyond our control. In addition, it's important to value the relationships we are given, even though they may not last forever. Stoics valued the support of community as a source of comfort during difficult times. Wholeheartedly embracing our loved ones in every moment, regardless of life's changes, enables us to fully appreciate the present before time takes its toll. Lesson 7. Confine yourself to the present. According to the Stoics, anxiety and frustration arise when we focus on things that are beyond our control. We often lose control over the present when we dwell on what could have been or what might happen in the future. The Stoics acknowledge that humans often become distracted by looking back on the past and speculating about the future, which can lead to excessive rumination and worry. This quote serves as a reminder to stay focused on the present moment. The present is the only moment in time where we can take purposeful action. When we become aware of the present situation, we can find peace and better deal with what is important. Lesson 8. When you arise in the morning, think of what a precious privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love. It reminds us to appreciate the incredible gift of existence and the beauty of being human, to breathe in life, contemplate profound ideas, experience happiness, and share love with others. The Stoic sages emphasize the importance of appreciating existence and avoiding unnecessary dramas and distractions in life. When we begin our day by reflecting on the simple joys of life, we gain a deeper understanding of our place in the universe and develop a sense of gratitude. Starting each day by reflecting on the incredible gifts of consciousness and our power to make a positive difference in the lives of others helps us stay grounded in what truly counts and gives us the assurance to tackle whatever challenges may come our way. We are constantly reminded of the incredible opportunity that comes with being born human. This encourages us to approach even challenges with a sense of perspective and purpose. In general, recognizing the value of each day when we wake up can shape our perspective on the present and future. Lesson 9. You can commit injustice by doing nothing. If we don't take action against cruelty, corruption, discrimination, and exploitation happening in the world, we allow these injustices to continue. While evil actions are usually driven by malicious intent, the silent acceptance of systems and behaviors that harm human dignity can be attributed to the perceived convenience of remaining quiet. In the end, this indicates a level of involvement. We are encouraged by the Stoic thinkers to fulfill our moral duty by speaking out and taking action against any injustices we encounter, rather than remaining passive and solely focused on our own comfort. When we let evil deeds go unopposed, it implies that we value our own peace more than the lives of others. Meaningful change starts when regular individuals have the bravery to speak up and challenge anything that diminishes the value of humanity. In order to drive progress, it is crucial that we counteract bystander apathy with a strong sense of moral outrage. Lesson 10. You can commit injustice by doing nothing. Instead of wasting time arguing about vague qualities of moral character, it is more effective to show goodness through our actions. According to the Stoics, a philosophy is only credible if its followers actually practice it. Moral principles hold no value unless they are put into action through virtuous behavior. Discussing admirable qualities is pointless if we don't actually demonstrate them, which can make people question our sincerity and our ability to live by our principles. Authentic influence stems from embodying our beliefs through actions rather than relying solely on persuasive abilities. Practicing what you preach adds credibility. In order to persuade others to adopt a particular standard of character, it is essential that we demonstrate its attainability through our own actions. Lesson 11. You can commit injustice by doing nothing. Even in seemingly ordinary or challenging situations, there are always hidden blessings if we are observant enough to notice them, from the simple pleasures of nature and friendship to unexpected chances for personal growth. We can embrace the ever-changing nature of life and be open to the abundance that each moment holds. Each new day brings unique opportunities that we should embrace, rather than going through the motions and overlooking the fleeting moments that often come when we least expect them. Lesson 12. You can commit injustice by doing nothing. The past is a distant memory, the future uncertain, but the present moment is always within our reach, ready to be embraced. Focusing on the past or future prevents us from fully embracing the present moment and truly living life. Instead, they suggested embracing the abundant resources that surround us and lie within. When we appreciate the present moment as a precious gift, we can fully experience its vibrant beauty without dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. If we can't find joy, purpose, or growth in the present moment, it's unlikely that we'll find it in some imaginary place. The present is always a wonderful gift that we can open with gratitude and mindfulness. Currently, there is always the potential for new opportunities if we are willing to approach them with a receptive mindset. Lesson 13. Give yourself a gift, the present moment. The things we gather and the money we earn in our lifetime are fleeting, capable of disappearing in a moment. The key to true lasting wealth lies in our ability to give to others, rather than solely focusing on what we can acquire for ourselves. Life is short and death is inevitable for everyone. Our possessions and achievements in life do not accompany us after death. Yet, the love and meaningful impact we give while alive continues to resonate in the hearts and lives of those uplifted. We should appreciate the simple pleasures in life and not let material possessions consume us. Success should not be measured solely by the amount of money we accumulate. What we hold on to tightly may ultimately have little significance. Instead, the kindness and support we offer to others becomes our lasting legacy, a timeless inheritance connected to a greater sense of purpose beyond our own lives. Lesson 14. The only wealth which you will keep forever is the wealth you have given away. It's important to appreciate the simple pleasures in life, but we should also be mindful of becoming too comfortable and prioritizing luxury over meaningful goals. When we shy away from challenges, we miss out on opportunities for personal growth and finding purpose in our lives. Is there a greater purpose for me beyond simply keeping warm and comfortable? Isn't it important to bravely face challenges in order to serve, make a difference, and have a meaningful impact? What possibilities would go untapped if I spent too much time cocooned in blankets, shutting out the world? We are faced with a choice. Do we settle for a comfortable life and avoid taking risks, or do we challenge ourselves to pursue what is difficult yet essential, our noble values and the responsibility to uplift others? Discovering the answer lies within. Where would you like to see purpose come alive? Which one is the source, external or internal? Lesson 15. Conceal a flaw, and the world will imagine the worst. When we keep our weaknesses and insecurities hidden due to the fear of being judged, others are left to make assumptions and fill in the missing information. Without transparency, people often tend to imagine the worst flaws. The core principles of Stoic philosophy emphasize the development of inner wisdom, self-honesty, and the ability to control destructive impulses. Moreover, the Stoics emphasized the importance of being genuine in relationships. They believed in the power of embracing one's imperfections instead of hiding them, seeing it as a way to free ourselves from others' imagined judgments. After the flaws are exposed, our concerns about potential attacks decrease. Furthermore, embracing our imperfections helps to cultivate stronger bonds between people. According to the Stoics, achieving self-perfection is an illusion because we all make mistakes. They believe that acknowledging imperfections with bravery and a sense of humor fosters trust and a sense of belonging. Life becomes more bearable when we let go of the need to pretend. It's a great feeling when we can be our authentic selves around others. Outer stability is a natural result of inner freedom. Lesson 16. Life is neither good or evil, but only a place for good and evil. Life exists as the stage for the human drama, with all its intricacies. Events occur, circumstances arise. However, life at its core lacks a qualitative nature of positivity or negativity. Instead, the quote implies that the concepts of good and evil are shaped by how humans interpret and react to them. We tend to impose our own subjective evaluations onto situations, categorizing them as either positive or negative. However, they are just a natural part of the unpredictable nature of life. Life offers a platform for various human expressions, both positive and negative. This is the realm where moral decisions take place. However, life is a neutral landscape, devoid of human intentions. Lesson 17. I cannot escape death, but at least I can escape the fear of it. We have no control over the hour of death, but we do have the power to shape the quality of our life and character leading up to that moment. Instead of being consumed by fear of death, we can focus on living with integrity, purpose, and even happiness. When we shift our focus from the inevitability of death to the way we choose to live our lives, we can free ourselves from the grip of death anxiety. Embracing the fleeting nature of everything with bravery and focusing on the value of each current moment shifts our worries about the future into a dedication to doing what's right and connecting with others in the present. We all face death eventually, but by overcoming our fear, we take control of the story of our lives that leads us to that point. And that's where the true triumph lies, being able to navigate through the unpredictable and fleeting nature of life. With this clear perspective, we rise above fear to find freedom within our boundaries. Lesson 18. How trivial the things we want so passionately are. Many of the things that humans tirelessly pursue, such as wealth, fame, status, perfection, and pleasure, often do not hold the significant value that we attribute to them. By prioritizing these external markers, we end up compromising our genuine fulfillment, integrity, and inner peace. The Stoic philosophers emphasized the significance of distinguishing between temporary desires and profound necessities, trivialities versus significance. It is unfortunate to spend our precious time on trivial pursuits that offer little fulfillment. And that's precisely what a lot of us waste our energy pursuing, things that provide only temporary satisfaction before the never-ending cycle of desire starts all over again. Are my passions in line with meaningful pursuits? I'm investing my time and energy into things that pale in comparison to personal growth, meaningful connections, and maintaining dignity? How can I distinguish between my genuine needs and my mere desires? The Stoic path revolves around the pursuit of what truly matters beyond the self. When we become aware of how insignificant many of our pursuits are, we can gain wisdom and focus on more meaningful and worthwhile goals. Until we realize that the greatest rewards come from within, our desires will continue to control us. Lesson 19. Settle on the type of person you want to be and stick to it, whether alone or in company. The Stoics emphasized the importance of cultivating wisdom to gain a profound understanding of one's priorities and values, independent of external factors. Having self-awareness enables one to maintain confidence in upholding virtues, even when faced with pressure to conform or compromise. They emphasized the significance of having a reliable internal guide, choosing core beliefs that recognize the inherent potential of humanity. Keep your ultimate vision of your best self in mind as you navigate through different life situations. Allow this clear vision to firmly establish your sense of self in different situations. Understanding the importance of maintaining a strong sense of identity is crucial, even as we adapt to new situations. When faced with challenges, it's important to stick to your principles and act accordingly, rather than compromising your values for convenience. When encountering new environments and personalities, rely on the principles you established through thoughtful reflection. Stay focused on your goals. The essence of maturity and leadership lies in the ability to maintain a steadfast inward clarity while navigating external situations. Stay true to your authentic self, no matter who may be present to witness it. Lesson 20. Consider at what price you sell your integrity, but please, for God's sake, don't sell it cheap. In a world that is far from perfect, it may sometimes be necessary to make concessions and be flexible. However, they strongly warned against compromising integrity for small gains or temporary peace. Having a deep understanding of our core values helps us determine when it's necessary to stand firm and when it's acceptable to be flexible for the sake of maintaining our humanity. There are situations where following principles too strictly can unnecessarily endanger oneself or others. Choosing a calibrated concession may be the right decision. Nevertheless, cautions strongly against oversimplified justifications that gradually undermine moral principles. When we start giving up on our ideals, bit by bit, instead of valuing virtue as a unified concept, we can find ourselves on a dangerous path. Given these circumstances, conscious pragmatism maintains its dignity. However, making hasty or gradual compromises can lead to a loss of integrity. The cost depends on your identity and aspirations. Effective leaders must understand the balance between adapting to new situations while maintaining their principles without compromising their integrity for insignificant personal benefits. Take a moment to think about what cannot be changed before rushing to find justifications. Chapter 2. Seneca. Lucius Annaeus Seneca, known simply as Seneca, played an essential role in the development of Stoic philosophy in ancient Rome. As a prominent writer, statesman, and tutor to Emperor Nero, Seneca both studied and applied Stoic ethics and ideals. His philosophical letters and essays feature memorable arguments upholding the importance of reason, self-control, simplicity, and justice in living the virtuous life. Despite wealth and power, Seneca insisted on austerity and aligning conduct with ideals. Such Stoic attitudes sought liberation from emotional excess and grasping for empty status in death. Denying Roman society, Seneca compellingly called people to higher principles through applying philosophy to daily experience. When forced to suicide for alleged conspiracy, Seneca embraced death stoically. His extraordinary influence as a moral guide is evident in quotes still widely circulated today, emphasizing the brevity of life, overcoming fear through moral purpose, and maintaining integrity amidst struggle. Seneca practiced the engaged self-examination and desire for wisdom ruling his words. This alignment made Seneca a riveting Stoic exemplar centuries after his death. Lesson 1. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Many individuals would torment themselves by constantly cycling through scenarios of what if, imagining future disasters that rarely ever actually happened. However, constantly worrying and imagining worst-case scenarios only adds unnecessary stress and hinders our ability to effectively deal with challenges if they do happen. It's crucial to remember that relying on our imagination alone may not accurately reflect the extent of the challenges we truly experience. Our minds tend to focus more on negatives and potential fears, rather than considering the facts and probabilities in a balanced way. Getting caught up in overthinking can distort our perception of reality and lead to unnecessary unhappiness. The wise understand that things are frequently less severe than what our inner voice suggests. When we calm our thoughts and stay focused on the present, we become better equipped to overcome any obstacles that may come our way. However, a lot of unnecessary suffering occurs only within our thoughts. Lesson 2. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. Although there will always be some level of uncertainty, gaining knowledge in important areas allows for a more precise evaluation of what truly deserves our concern. Having a good understanding of the situation and the likelihood of different outcomes helps us make informed decisions without getting caught up in unnecessary speculation. Fear flourishes when understanding is lacking. By consistently questioning and studying events and our beliefs about them, we can overcome fear and gain enlightened understanding. Embrace curiosity instead of reacting with distress. When we take the time to carefully examine what may initially seem scary, we can uncover its true essence. Wisdom can easily dismantle fear. Shining a light of understanding on the unknown helps us overcome the negative effects of ignorance and prejudice. Understanding is the key to eliminating fear. Knowledge is its antidote. Lesson 3. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. We often find ourselves longing for a future filled with happiness, success, or contentment, eagerly awaiting the day when those perfect situations become a reality. However, By constantly anticipating these hypothetical futures, we fail to fully appreciate the imperfect yet genuine experiences that are happening in the present moment. We often perceive the present moment as uninteresting, unsatisfying, or merely a means to an end. The Stoic philosophers advised against using the future as a means to avoid embracing the intricate wonders of the present moment. Living fully occurs in the present moment or not at all. Every passing moment quickly becomes part of the unchangeable past, beyond our reach. This quote is a reminder to not take life for granted and wait for the perfect situation. Let go of the habit of dismissing moments as not worth fully engaging in unless they align with certain expectations. Dive into the wonderful experiences that life offers with every breath. In life, we only have the present moment as the future is always out of reach. We often overlook the beauty of the present moment, waiting for a future that may never come. This mindset can prevent us from fully embracing and enjoying life as it is. Lesson 4. Life is long if you know how to use it. Human life is incredibly short, passing by in the blink of an eye in the grand scheme of the cosmos. However, the underlying message implies that by living with intention and embracing every moment, life can be fulfilling and meaningful, regardless of its brevity. Every moment holds the potential for profound engagement, allowing us to fully experience life and make the most of each opportunity. From this higher perspective, our individual lives provide ample opportunity to fully engage in what truly matters: love, personal development, self-improvement, artistic expression, and wonder. By focusing on these important goals, life becomes imbued with deep significance, even though it may seem fleeting in the grand scheme of things. So, life progresses when used effectively. It's frustrating how short it is. The moment, cherished and timeless, knows no bounds. Lesson 5. Cease to hope and you will cease to fear. At first glance, this statement may appear to encourage a somewhat pessimistic and accepting perspective. If you stop expecting things, you'll also stop fretting about potential dangers. Yet, the underlying message implies a more nuanced and liberating perspective on our expectations. Imagining future scenarios can cause distress in the present, leading to both hopes and fears. Having unfounded hopes can be quite frustrating, while constantly worrying achieves nothing. When we have realistic expectations about the world, it can help alleviate a lot of distress when things don't go as planned. Behind the frustration and disappointment, there is an underlying sense of entitlement, the belief that life should owe us something. Similarly, developing a clear understanding of what is possible by observing past experiences can help us distinguish between legitimate concerns and exaggerated fears. When hopes and fears are in sync with reality, emotional turmoil and distress lessen. Mastering life's ups and downs becomes easier when we embrace the present and accept uncertainty with calmness. And that's where lasting security can be found. Lesson 6. Wealth is the slave of a wise man and the master of a fool. At first glance, this quote emphasizes the importance of being in charge of one's finances, instead of being controlled by them. However, the underlying message implies how humans perceive and interact with wealth and possessions in a broader sense. Nevertheless, individuals who possess self-discipline are able to maintain a clear sense of identity and purpose, regardless of their financial situation. Applying wisdom to any situation helps us appreciate the importance of having enough while also letting go of unnecessary abundance. Recognizing basic necessities over unnecessary desires reflects a lack of greed. Meanwhile, those who are enlightened see money as a practical tool for pursuing moral objectives without compromising their integrity. The power of wealth is determined by how you perceive and prioritize it. Material possessions only hold sway over those who rely on them for validation and struggle with their inevitable transience. However, you are not governed by any external circumstances, as you are internally secure. Thus, when wisdom is in control, sovereignty naturally follows. Valuation only enslaves those consumed by egotism. Lesson 7. Only time can heal what reason cannot. At times, life throws us unexpected challenges that can leave us feeling confused, helpless, and discouraged. During such times, it can be difficult to find comfort or make sense of the distress. We often feel overwhelmed by harsh realities that defy logic. Over time, the overwhelming grief gradually evolves into a softer form of mourning and eventually becomes integrated into the fabric of life. Time guides us through challenging moments, leading us towards a brighter future filled with newfound purpose. In the midst of pain, words and analysis may not fully capture the experience. However, with the passage of time, perspective is gained and the strength of the human spirit becomes evident. Reason often struggles to comprehend things that are beyond its grasp. However, over time, there is a gradual process of restoring and weaving together torn threads to create new tapestries. When reason reaches its limits, time provides a healing that goes beyond comprehension. Lesson 8. Hang on to your youthful enthusiasms. You will be able to use them better when you are older. The enthusiasm and idealism that characterize the youthful spirit often diminish with time and the challenges of life. During our youth, we often possess a sense of invincibility and immortality, as the world seems full of hope and endless possibilities. However, as time goes by, responsibilities, loss, and cynicism often dampen the initial joy and courage. As we gain more experience, we can combine hope and wisdom. What was once perceived as naivety has transformed into a nuanced vision, driven by increased capability and resources. Our society often dismisses hopeful enthusiasm as naive. However, maintaining sense of excitement while incorporating practicality and patience allows it to develop into significant transformation over time. When you combine your dreams with dedication, you can achieve real results. Nurture them diligently instead, guiding them from times of restriction to periods of growth and strength. At some point, our experiences and maturity can transform our youthful dreams into tangible accomplishments. Planting seeds in the spring will allow you to enjoy a bountiful harvest come autumn. Lesson 9. It is a rough road that leads to the heights of greatness. Along the journey towards meaningful achievement and fulfillment, comfort and ease are often hard to come by. Achieving what we consider as greatness in our personal lives demands resilience, sacrifice, and frequently enduring struggle before reaching the envisioned heights. There is a sense of fulfillment that comes from developing character and overcoming challenges. The end of the challenging journey reminds us of our purpose and helps us regain our self-respect. When we willingly choose to face challenges in pursuit of service or moral ideals, the difficult journey carries a sense of honor and significance that is often absent in the pursuit of wealth or recognition alone. Achieving greatness on a personal level is not solely dependent on talent, but also on the ability to persevere and improve despite facing obstacles. And with such determination, we can distinguish ourselves and reach extraordinary heights. Lesson 10. Difficulty comes from our lack of confidence. The philosophers note that unnecessary suffering often stems from the exaggerated narratives we unconsciously create about potential dangers. We can easily understand the tendency to envision catastrophe and project worst case scenarios. However, it is important to recognize that probability and resources are on our side, rather than succumbing to these fearful illusions. Basically, our confidence in dealing with uncertainty and change diminishes. This lack of self-trust and clear perception creates challenges as it leads to increasing distress that hinders effective response. When we believe in scary stories about being powerless, we end up causing our own problems. We handle challenges with bravery and a calm approach, preventing them from escalating unnecessarily. Many times, the root cause of distress can be found in our lack of self-confidence rather than external factors. When one possesses unwavering confidence in their abilities and strength, they can shape events according to their desires instead of being defeated by them. Lesson 11. Difficulty comes from our lack of confidence. The philosophers note that unnecessary suffering often stems from the exaggerated narratives we unconsciously create about potential dangers. We can easily understand the tendency to envision catastrophe and project worst case scenarios. However, it is important to recognize that probability and resources are on our side, rather than succumbing to these fearful illusions. Basically, our confidence in dealing with uncertainty and change diminishes. This lack of self-trust and clear perception creates challenges as it leads to increasing distress that hinders effective response. When we believe in scary stories about being powerless, we end up causing our own problems. We handle challenges with bravery and a calm approach, preventing them from escalating unnecessarily. Many times, the root cause of distress can be found in our lack of self-confidence rather than external factors. When one possesses unwavering confidence in their abilities and strength, they can shape events according to their desires instead of being defeated by them. Lesson 12. Difficulty comes from our lack of confidence. Without regular check-ins to assess the overall situation, our priorities become unclear as we constantly react to immediate impulses. We often find ourselves caught up in concerns about fleeting problems, identities, and material things. When we take a step back and look at our lives over the years, we can see what truly shapes our character and whether our current choices align with our core values. It links temporary discomfort to a greater meaning. It's common for us to focus too much on our immediate frustrations, which can sometimes lead us astray from doing what's right in the long run. Regularly appreciating the beauty of our life journeys reveals our true selves beyond temporary roles. Wisdom and integrity prevail as fleeting turbulence disappears from sight. Lesson 13. When a person spends all his time in foreign travel, he ends by having many acquaintances but no friends. Travel loses its significance regardless of the distance if we don't balance external exploration with internal reflection on our conscience, priorities, and presence. We often confuse diversion with insight. Genuine friendship and a sense of belonging are not formed by simply collecting acquaintances like souvenirs. Instead, they are built through the shared purpose and vulnerability, regardless of how unique the circumstances may be. Exploring our inner selves allows us to harmonize external experiences with our purposeful existence. Otherwise, we struggle to capture attention without ever truly satisfying the emptiness inside. It can be difficult to feel connected when surrounded by so many different experiences. Lesson 14. For many men, the acquisition of wealth does not end their troubles, it only changes them. If one's inner self is lacking spiritual fulfillment, material possessions cannot provide solace for anxiety and despair. Things we buy to try and alleviate emotional distress often end up being disappointing. Thus, even though having access to helpful resources can bring solace, someone struggling internally will quickly discover the hidden troubles in every situation. Restless outlook and priorities, seeking validation, completion, or escape can lead to a constant pursuit of material possessions. Without wisdom and purpose, the inward self will starve, regardless of any outward gains. Until that truth sinks in, it will continue to be a disappointing outcome that fails to live up to its potential. There are valuable treasures to be found within ourselves, regardless of the material wealth we accumulate. Chapter 3. Epictetus. Epictetus, a renowned Greek Stoic philosopher from the early 2nd century AD, made significant contributions to his field. He dedicated his philosophical teachings to emphasizing personal ethics and self-mastery, making them accessible and clear. His teachings focus on the ability to make decisions, take action, and pursue our desires, while acknowledging that external circumstances are beyond our control and should be accepted. Epictetus's teachings emphasize the importance of focusing on what can be controlled rather than getting caught up in appearances, wealth, or reputation. By prioritizing virtue and seeking emotional calm, his teachings offer a valuable perspective. A lot of human suffering arises from the assumption that things should be different from how they actually are. Nevertheless, peace comes from comprehending the ever-changing nature of the universe. Epictetus exemplified his creed by facing adversity with bravery and integrity. His lessons focus on freedom and empowerment driven by a strong moral purpose regardless of external factors. The main concepts encourage resilience, clear perception, self-regulation, aligning actions with values, and focusing solely on one's own reasoned choice. Understanding the concept of detachment enables individuals to engage in situations without experiencing distress. Epictetus' personal example. Despite his difficult circumstances as a slave and later as a lame outcast, added an authentic touch to his Stoic instruction. His insight brings about a sense of calm and grace. His manual has been a source of inspiration for countless generations. Lesson 1. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak. At first glance, this quote highlights the idea that listening is more important than speaking and encourages us to prioritize understanding others. However, the true value of this lies in its ability to encourage us to overcome our natural self-centeredness. This lack of openness to new information and different perspectives before responding only leads to more confusion and pain. We often fail to listen when we should speak. Gain a deeper understanding by acknowledging that our initial perspective may not capture the complete truth. Afterwards, communication becomes more reliable, choices become more precise, and relationships become more valued. Understanding the complexity of a situation requires acknowledging that there is often more that we don't know than what we don't know than what we do know. It's important to listen carefully and question our own assumptions before confidently speaking about things we may not fully understand. The difference lies in the level of effort put in, rather than how it is perceived. Lesson 2. No man is free who is not master of himself. Genuine freedom necessitates personal discipline and a sense of control from within. If our state of mind and quality of life are easily influenced by external events, we become slaves to circumstance. We often make the mistaken assumption that we have complete control over the world. Nevertheless, when we assume the responsibility of managing how others perceive us, making judgments, and developing resilience against unrealistic expectations, we gain control over our experiences, no matter what challenges life presents. Establishing a clear, ethical framework helps us avoid relying too heavily on others or specific circumstances. We can find our own sense of purpose and meaning without relying on external validation from fame, wealth, or status, which are temporary and beyond our control. This kind of clear-headed self-control helps us connect with a lasting sense of purpose and dignity. In the midst of a chaotic and uncertain world, individuals who remain calm and centered find strength to navigate any challenges that come their way. Even as circumstances shift, the ability to act virtuously remains, providing a deep sense of freedom that cannot be shaken by external limitations. Thus, genuine freedom is achieved by exercising self-control rather than attempting to exert external control. If we fail to conquer the realm within ourselves, no external force can free us from the turmoil within. However, when one practices self-rulership, they are solely accountable to their conscience, which is the foundation of unlimited personal sovereignty. Lesson 3. Men are disturbed not by things, but by the view which they take of them. Distress and disturbance do not arise solely from facts, but rather from our subjective perspectives that often irrationally influence how we perceive those facts. The mind is often disturbed not by external factors, but by our own perspective and attachment to desires. Understanding this gives you an advantage. By simply focusing on examining and adjusting perceptions, we can easily transform our relation to occurrences without altering what happens. That's where the real power lies in shaping our quality of life. The process of uncovering the hidden connections between things and our subjective interpretations allows us to understand the power we have in shaping meaning from our own perspectives. Just like we create disturbance, we also have the opportunity to edit the inner scripts that are unconsciously produced, leading to liberation. Lesson 4. It is difficulties that show what men are. During difficult times, such as grief, frustration, and uncertainty, our true emotional and ethical foundations are revealed, going beyond surface level appearances or claims. When faced with intense pressure, fake virtues crumble while genuine substance remains resilient. Some individuals find inner strength while others experience emotional distress. This truly showcases the depth of one's character. Even when faced with harsh conditions like winter's chill or an earthquake, true integrity remains unwavering. It's important to recognize the value of difficulties in revealing our true selves, going beyond our usual roles and routines. The way a person handles a crisis can shape their future. Lesson 5. Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens. Understanding a Stoic outlook involves recognizing the distinction between what we have control over and what we don't. A lot of frustration and suffering comes from wanting to control things that we can't really control, like other people, outcomes, reputations, and past events. Stoicism suggests that we should focus our efforts on understanding and improving our own thoughts, viewpoints, and actions in any situation. Do not become attached to things that are beyond our control. Other than having a clear understanding, everything else must be accepted as life's unpredictable nature dictates. This disciplined approach of focusing agency only where leverage exists promises profound empowerment and emotional resilience. Regardless of what happens, in the midst of life's uncertainties, we have the power to shape our inner world by embracing virtue and wisdom as our guiding principles, instead of yielding to irrational expectations for reality to conform to our desires. We can make conscious choices. Lesson 6. A ship should not ride on a single anchor, nor life on a single hope. Life's unpredictable changes make it difficult to find something that is reliably permanent, even though it's natural for humans to seek stability. Time's impermanence affects all aspects of life, including relationships, wealth, and accolades. Meaning can be unpredictable and fleeting, often leaving those who relied on it in a state of despair. Thus, this quote implies the importance of not putting too much faith in just one source of hope. By combining different sources of meaning, inspiration, purpose, and community, the impact of one failure does not deplete all resources. We stay afloat thanks to a network of interconnected buoys. If one anchor chain breaks, our little ship of self will still stay afloat. Strength against the changeable tides is bolstered by metaphysical diversity. We spread out emotional dependency instead of focusing it in one place. Therefore, when storms or corrosion damage a presumed rock, new advancements emerge to fill the void instead of leaving us feeling helpless. Hope, when divided, expands in the deepest sense. However, when hope is singular, it dooms all by vesting such narrow faith. Lesson 7. A ship should not ride on a single anchor, nor life on a single hope. This line emphasizes the importance of staying focused on the bigger picture and having faith in the small, gradual progress that can lead to significant breakthroughs over time. Nothing revolutionary or groundbreaking happens without some sort of introduction. However, over time, gradual permeation has the power to reshape landscapes that were once considered unchangeable. Progress in societies and personal growth happens through a series of intentional and incremental steps, rather than relying solely on sudden bursts of motivation. And there lies hope for those who feel discouraged by the absence of immediate success. Stay on track. Small changes made today can gradually transform into excellence and naturally lead to greatness over time. Tomorrow is full of promise that we can't even imagine yet, even though progress may feel slow and unseen. Lesson 8. Know, first, who you are and then adorn yourself accordingly. The core of Stoic philosophy focuses on the importance of knowing and aligning with one's own values, priorities, and purpose rather than being consumed by shallow pursuits like wealth, fame, and reputation. Understanding oneself at a profound level should always be the guiding principle for how we behave in the world. If you struggle to understand the values that guide your decisions, there is a danger of pursuing empty goals or pretending to be someone you're not just to impress others, instead of focusing on personal growth. Your core identity becomes fragmented by various roles, expectations, and fleeting desires that never seem to be fulfilled. By prioritizing the process of consciously connecting with your highest self and refining your unique virtues and qualities, you can establish a strong foundation. By aligning with your inner truth, you can tap into a sense of confidence and purpose that doesn't depend on external validation. Lesson 9. It is the nature of the wise to resist pleasures, but the foolish to be a slave to them. Letting go of the need for external sources of pleasure to determine our happiness or self-worth. Understanding wisdom lies not in completely avoiding pleasure, but in maintaining control over our impulses. This allows us to choose when to indulge in rational enjoyment rather than being driven by compulsion. Mastering this concept may seem straightforward in theory, but it can be challenging to apply rational thinking in the midst of intense emotions. It requires the wisdom to remain balanced and composed. However, choosing not to rely on the convenient excuse of being unable to control oneself distinguishes the advanced mind from the instinctive reactions of untrained animals. Thus, the ultimate purpose of humanity is to use reason to guide the soul, rather than succumbing to every hedonistic desire. Understanding the impact of conditioning on our choices is crucial for maintaining our conscious spirit and avoiding lifelong enslavement. Where does humanity's unique dignity lie, if not in the moral authority supported by the tireless pursuit of wisdom? Lesson 10. First, learn the meaning of what you say and then speak. It is important to thoroughly examine oneself before making any claims or expressing certainty. Shallow opinions crumble when faced with life's challenges without a solid understanding. So, let's think about the way we communicate. What do these words really say about how we connect with each other? In order to foster effective learning, it is crucial to avoid sending messages that are hastily put together and unclear, as they can lead to disconnection and misunderstandings. Understanding the depths of one's own heart is essential before attempting to express it outwardly. Embrace the profound essence of awareness before proclaiming its magnificence. Understanding ideas becomes more meaningful when we can relate them to our own experiences and effectively share them with others. Lesson 10. First learn the meaning of what you say and then speak. Many times, we find ourselves constantly complaining about how others don't make us happy, fulfilled, or secure. However, we fail to realize that we are the ones responsible for creating these meanings from within ourselves. Although collaboration and interdependence have their merits, it is important to remember that no one else can or should be responsible for cultivating your own sense of joy, purpose, and virtues. If you desire excellence or meaning, it is your responsibility to cultivate and embody them instead of relying on external sources. With this perspective, we have the amazing opportunity to create fulfilling lives on our own terms by letting go of victimhood or entitlement mindsets that limit our control, relying on others or external circumstances to provide or restore energy limits independence. Discover the ingredients for crafting a meaningful existence that are already within and around you. Take charge and embrace your role as the creative force. Create what you desire. In this exploration of Stoic philosophy, we come to the realization that this timeless school of thought continues to hold relevance in the present, just as it did 2 millennia ago. The wisdom passed down by great philosophers such as Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and Epictetus provides us with timeless principles to navigate our precious lives. Although we may not have power over external circumstances, we do have control over how we choose to respond to them. Understanding that stress is a normal part of life and recognizing our ability to control our response to it is the initial step in effectively managing workplace stress. With the adoption of a Stoic mindset, we can develop unwavering inner peace even when confronted with difficult work situations. Workplace stress often arises from concerns about factors that are outside of our control, such as the behavior of our colleagues or the results of our projects. By focusing on the present and taking action to handle our duties, we can reduce a lot of the stress that comes from worrying about the future or dwelling on past errors. Highlights the significance of keeping a clear viewpoint. When we consider the bigger picture, our work-related stressors may appear insignificant. When we take a step back and consider the immense expanse of the universe, we can see things from a wider viewpoint and understand that our current worries are only temporary and won't last forever. This understanding allows us to distance ourselves from the immediate stress and concentrate on what is truly important, our well-being and personal development. By embracing individuals for who they are and prioritizing our own positive qualities, we foster an atmosphere of genuineness and mutual regard. When we are fully present, we can genuinely listen to others, grasp their viewpoints, and respond with empathy and compassion. Practicing active listening and fully engaging in conversations helps us build stronger relationships and form deeper connections. Through regular self-reflection, we can gain a deeper understanding of our thoughts, beliefs, and behaviors, which helps us identify any negative patterns or biases that might impact our relationships. By being aware of ourselves and practicing discipline, we can conquer these challenges and develop healthier relationships with our loved ones. Understanding others' perspectives and emotions involves the capacity for empathy. By engaging in this practice, we can establish meaningful connections with others, nurturing empathy and enhancing our bonds. By actively listening to others and striving to comprehend their experiences, we can foster a sense of togetherness and encourage positive relationships in both our personal and professional lives. Comprehending the human experience requires acknowledging its inherent intricacy. Understanding that everyone faces their own challenges allows us to interact with others in a compassionate and understanding manner. It's much simpler to respond with empathy rather than judgment or anger when we recognize that people's actions often stem from their own struggles. 1. Acknowledgement. Instead of resisting or battling stress, it's important to recognize its presence and embrace it as a natural aspect of life. By embracing stress, we can redirect our attention towards discovering solutions and effectively handling its effects on our overall well-being. 2. Mindfulness. By practicing mindfulness, we can remain fully present in the moment and calmly observe our thoughts and emotions without any form of judgment. Understanding our stress triggers allows us to identify where they come from and find effective ways to manage them. 3. Preemptive visualization. The Stoics believed in the power of negative visualization, a technique that helps us mentally prepare for potential challenges. By imagining the worst possible situations and practicing how we would handle them, we can strengthen our ability to bounce back and minimize the effects of stress when it does happen. 4. Stoic philosophy places a strong emphasis on cultivating moral virtues like wisdom, courage, and self-control. By developing these qualities, we can improve our capacity to handle stress in a logical and composed way. Take this scenario. By practicing self-control, we can resist impulsive reactions to stressful situations and instead respond with composure and thoughtfulness. Meditations on Stoicism. Meditations on Stoicism involve contemplating philosophical teachings and principles to gain a broader perspective on our personal challenges and anxieties. Regularly practicing Stoic meditations can help us cultivate a mindset that focuses on what we can control and release what we cannot. This practice can effectively reduce stress and anxiety. Keeping a journal. Documenting our thoughts and emotions can be a valuable technique for reducing stress. Journaling is a helpful practice in Stoicism that allows us to gain insights into our own patterns of thinking and behavior through the analysis of our journal entries. We can pinpoint the factors that cause stress and create effective strategies to manage them. By integrating these Stoic practices into our daily routines, we can develop a sense of unwavering inner peace and effectively handle stress. In our personal relationships, business success, and decision-making processes, Stoic wisdom offers a timeless framework for navigating life's challenges with resilience and tranquility. It is a philosophy that can be easily understood and applied to various aspects of life. Discover the wisdom of Stoicism and begin your path to a more peaceful existence. Grasping the fundamental Stoic principles is a breeze. Make a clear distinction between things within your control and things outside of your control. Direct your attention towards your personal viewpoints and moral values rather than relying on external factors for happiness. Let go of your fear and obsession with future uncertainties or past regrets. Just concentrate on the present moment. It's all you need to conquer. Discover a method to effectively handle strong emotions by applying rational thinking and aligning your expectations with the actual circumstances. Choose to embrace your virtuous nature and respond thoughtfully instead of reacting impulsively. Embrace the constantly changing world while staying in touch with your own inner self. Discover the power within your conscience to uncover meaning and purpose, even when faced with limitations. Challenges often bring out our strengths and give us opportunities to help others. Attaining a state of nobility is the result of desires being guided by wisdom. By wholeheartedly applying these principles, which are shared here and ready to be embraced, remarkable freedom will be unveiled. The Stoic sages showed a way that can empower anyone, focusing on tranquility and clarity instead of chaos and ignorance. May we gather the courage to emulate their footsteps in the present day. The destination is the reason why the journey is worth it.